Hey guys, I'm Hillbilly Dude, and today I've got a little bit of a problem. I caught the exhaust stack on a tree branch, it ripped it off, it broke the cast iron elbow right above the manifold. So I'm going to see if I can't piece this flange or this elbow back together and weld it with the cheapest arc welder that they had at Harbor Freight. Wish me luck. So this is the cheapest welder that they had at Harbor Freight as far as arc welders go. There was one welder that was cheaper, but it was a wire feed, and I really wanted arc for this project. So this is it. It was $149.99 if I remember right, and we're gonna give it a shot. I also got rod for it, 6011 and 7018. That was all they had that would fit this. So we're gonna see which one works better and if it'll even weld on cast iron. Okay, so we got the flange off, unbolted, and I've got 5 pieces of it, and then we managed to get the elbow off. So we've got everything we need. I've got my grinder, and I've just got a 60 grit soft wheel. We're gonna clean all these edges up. I've pieced it together. I know how it fits together. I think I'm missing a couple other pieces, but I'm gonna have to make do with what I got. And then of course we got old cheapo depot back here, and yeah, we're well on our way to fixing this. My tip of the day, always use protection. Okay, so I've got everything kind of set up. I've got the first couple pieces put in place where they're going to need to be. I haven't even done a test pass with this welder yet. And I just want to say I'm not a welder. I don't claim to be a good welder or a professional welder, nor a mechanic for that matter. So all this is just some hillbilly doing this in his backyard. Okay, so bear with me here. This little Harbor Freight welder has actually worked out quite well. I'm pleasantly surprised with it. It seems to weld pretty smooth, pretty steady. It took me a minute to figure out the right amperage. I had to play around with the amperage to get it to where it would beat up good, and I could actually get some good welds on this exhaust piece. But once I figured out the amperage, I have no complaints. It seemed to work out good. I used 6011 the whole time. I never did use any 7018 rod. The 6011 was working out just fine for me, so I figured stick with what's working. Since I was trying to kind of Humpty Dumpty this thing together with 5 pieces, I just stuck with the 6011 since it was working so well. I'm sure the 7018 probably would have done fine too, but I never even got to try it. I researched several professionals that do this for a living before I bought this welder and did this project, and they had several tips that I didn't use, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you about, because if you're doing something that is going to need to be significantly stronger than what my piece, this exhaust piece isn't taking a lot of stress. All it's doing is standing that exhaust pipe straight up. If you're doing something that's made out of cast iron that is going to have a little bit more abuse and a little bit more stress, here's some tips for you. So warming the metal up would have been important, because there's such a giant temperature swing from the air temperature to whenever you strike your arc and it starts melting the metal. That is a huge temperature swing, so it really puts a lot of stress on that metal whenever you do that, and you'll have a little bit stronger weld if you go ahead and warm the metal up first. So this cast iron is already naturally brittle, so if I would have took a torch and went ahead and warmed this up first, all the pieces, before I started welding, that probably would have made a little bit stronger weld. Another thing is, once I finish the weld, if you put this in a bucket of sand to insulate it, it lets it cool down much slower, which also makes a stronger weld. So I didn't do that. All I did was, whenever I finished my welding, I set it out in the sunshine and I let it just kind of air cool back down to the air temperature, and that allows it to cool off a lot quicker, which will make it more brittle in the end. But I'm not too concerned about it for like I said, for my project. If you're doing something else, or if you're just concerned about your weld cracking out in the future, then I would highly recommend getting a bag of sand or a bucket of sand or something and sticking your piece in it and covering it up with sand, letting it set overnight, so that way that heat slowly escapes the metal over a few hours instead of just several minutes. So overall, I'm pretty impressed with this little Harbor Freight welder. For 150 bucks, it has done quite well. I've got the tractor all put back together. It works. I didn't get any footage of it because I was in a hurry to use the tractor to get some brush hogging done, but everything worked out nicely. My holes lined up, got it all put back together, and we're good to go. So thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.